Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
This is awesome! This is awesome!
Hello and welcome once again to Cheap Shot Entertainment, and we are back with a new video. I know we're not doing NXT UK anymore, so there's a bigger gap in between each and every video that we do. However, we're going to bring you some more British wrestling, independent wrestling content to the channel instead. So we went off down to London to watch England play Bulgaria, and a good match it was as well. Just so happened that on the way back on the Sunday there was a Sacrifice Pro show. I've only ever been to a Sacrifice Pro show once, and if that was anything to go by, we were in for a real treat, and it did not disappoint. It was Sacrifice Pro 27, Payment is Due, my friend, and it took place at the Cedars Upper School on the 8th of September 2019. Really enjoyed my weekend. We went to go and see a show in the West End. Still got some tea in there, and yeah, just going to tell you about my weekend. But anyway, this is everything that happened at Sacrifice Pro, and there is some things that need to be addressed, obviously, and tends to be that if it happens in Sacrifice Pro, it tends to go over onto the main show as well. And there is a show in Mansfield on the 27th of September at the Forest Town Arena. But without further ado, we're going to take you through everything that happened. Join us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget the blogger and the t-shirt shop, where we also have hoodies as well as some new designs for you. It's time to choose your colours and join us right here on Cheap Shot Entertainment. We jump straight into the action at Sacrifice Pro with someone who we know quite well, Kent Nelson. He's been on the main Hope shows, he's appeared in Future, and is a direct adversary of the boy Troy Goose and his tiny towel. Obviously Troy isn't here in Sacrifice Pro, so that doesn't mean a thing to the Sacrifice Pro faithful. We do get a well-dressed ref. Hello Nick, how you doing? Where we were the only people chanting well-dressed ref. I don't get it. It was awesome. But Kent Nelson is going against Kieran Corrupt. Something that you know, obviously I don't go to Sacrifice Pro. I try and keep up with it, but I don't know the ins and the outs of the rivalry between these two. But it was a great opening match. Kent Nelson always brings everything to the table, so if you're going to be in the ring with Kent Nelson, you better bring your A game. Kieran Corrupt did just this, but he would go down to Kent Nelson and lose the match. Kieran Corrupt gets on top of the rope, and he is on top for most of the match. In fact, he blindsides Kent Nelson and continues to beat down on big guy for most of the match. Kent Nelson gets a little bit of offense in, but it would be Kent Nelson who would pick up the victory. So Kieran Corrupt goes up top, goes to the top rope, and is caught by Kent Nelson, who is the more powerful and more powerful of the two guys here in this match. He's caught by Kent Nelson. He drops Kieran Corrupt off the top rope. He then tries, like the referee is talking to Kent Nelson. Kieran Corrupt gets the knuckle dusters, very reminiscent of one. Yeah, I forgot his name. How did I forget his name? Manager of NXT, William Regal. There we go, I got it. Hey, it's been a long day. So very reminiscent of William Regal here. Kent Nelson manages to catch him, and as the referee is then talking to Kieran Corrupt, Kent Nelson picks up the knuckle dusters, clocks Kieran Corrupt to the side of the head, knocks him out, gets the victory, and the power of the punch wins this match for Kent Nelson, who then hits the full Nelson slam just to put the nail in the coffin for Kieran Corrupt and pick up the victory. Great opening match here, even if I did forget the name of the legendary William Regal. Kent Nelson is your winner in this one. So we move on to the next match. It is a title match, the Saints of Sacrifice match. Now, if you don't know what Saints of Sacrifice is, then this is your introduction to it. It's basically the tag team division for Sacrifice Pro. They always have different names for their titles. The Saints of Sacrifice are the tag team champions, and I really like that. I love that idea of having different names for your titles rather than just tag team title or world title or whatever. It is Los Palominos, former tag team champions. Last time we went to Sacrifice Pro, way back when we started the channel, so that will be in the same playlist as this video, so go and check that out. It was a long time ago. Breakfast at Tivy Lee's, yeah, they went for the championships there. They since won the championships and have clearly lost them again, but it is Los Palominos, it is Frankie Vegas and Tivy Lee versus Odin, and that is Bjorn and what I can only think is the name of Karanga. He had it written on the front of his tights. Correct me if I was wrong on that one. I do apologise if I was. So in a high-flying match, obviously Bjorn being the bigger of all of these guys, he would pick up the victory in the end, but a high-flying match nonetheless. Bjorn is known to fly as well. He is the flying Viking. We've seen him do that plenty of times. Lots of high-flying spots, lots of top rope spots here. There was something happening all the time, and it usually happened right down by where we were. We were sat in the opposite the entranceway in the aisle, and that's where they did all the jumpy flippy stuff, and most of the time the guys and girls ended up in that vicinity, so that was pretty cool, getting close to the action. This is why I love British wrestling. This is why I love British independent wrestling. No guardrails, just people putting on entertainment for us, and the most I've ever paid for a proper independent show is £15, so it goes a long way, really, doesn't it? I mean, lowest I've paid is £5. The lowest I've paid is free, because there was a free show last Christmas. But yeah, if you're into wrestling, go on, get yourself the Babyface app. Turn Babyface. It works in a way where you can track your favourite wrestlers. I've just gone off on a tangent. Track your favourite wrestlers, and it will also tell you which companies are putting on shows on any given day. So that's well worth going to do. Anyway, Los Palominos bring everything to the table here, but it just wasn't quite enough to conquer Odin, who are the current Saints of Sacrifice champions. It would be Bjorn hitting the pump handle facebuster on Tivy Lee for Odin to retain the championships here, and basically they retain them in convincing fashion. As much as I like Los Palominos, and their t-shirt is absolutely awesome, they always seem to be on the back foot with the championships when it comes to the Saints of Sacrifice championships. But they put on a good show. Odin retains the championships, and we move on in this show. Your next match is a Kingsley Leaves Town match. It is Team Kingsley versus Team Richie Swish, and as far as I can gather, Richie Swish is kind of like a Morgan Webster rip-off, but as I think he's some kind of management figure in Sacrifice Pro, and he's been having a little bit of a feud with Kyle Kingsley, who is face down in Sacrifice Pro. It is Team Kingsley versus Team Richie Swish, and basically if Kyle Kingsley wins, he gets to choose the match and the match type of his choice and who he's going to go against in that match. So I knew of Tommy Kyle, I knew of Charles Crowley. Just apologising for the drilling. There's been drilling going off next door for the last 3 days and it's getting quite annoying, but obviously they're doing something to their front room, so if you can hear that in the background, I do apologise. So I know 3, as well as Carl Kingsley obviously. I know 3 of the Team Kingsley guys. I didn't really know any of the other guys. I caught obviously Richie Swish's name, but he wasn't wrestling, it was Team Swish, so he was on the outside giving the crowd some stick, gave me some stick, I gave him some stick back. It was all good fun, but yeah, this match was incredible. 5 on 5, no rules. The well-dressed ref, Lonek again, well-dressed ref, just let everyone go. It started off with a massive brawl. It broke down really quickly. Everyone went down to the outside, started beating each other up on the left, they started beating each other up on the right, started beating each other up in the centre. It went all over Cedar's upper school gym for at least 15-20 minutes, and really fun match. Lots of things happening, too much to sort of take in and take notes on, but it would be Kyle Kingsley who would pick up the victory for his team with a backbreaker on David Grant. Oh yeah, I know David Grant as well, he's been in Future. So it would be a backbreaker on David Grant for the victory here for Team Kingsley, and he gets the pin. Kyle Kingsley gets on the mic after his victory and chooses Richie Swish as the person who he's going to go against, and chooses a street fight which is going to take place at Cedars Upper School again at the beginning of October. I think it's something like the 8th, but I'll check that before obviously sending you over there. But all the tickets are available on the Sacrifice Pro Big Cartel shop, so you can go and buy your tickets there and check the dates. Usually starts around about 4 o'clock. So he chooses Richie Swish. I've written here that he is the general manager of Sacrifice, so there you go. Kyle Kingsley versus Richie Swish at the next Sacrifice show, which is called Jackrafice Pro, in aid of Jack Cave, my boy Jack Cave, who we'll see later on, and that takes us into the break here at Sacrifice Pro. So we're going to the second half now. It is the first match of the second half. It is Jay Joshua versus Shogun Jay, one half of the Bromantics, and they come out to Salt and Pepper, I think it was, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this match for Shogun Jay and Jay Joshua, they're both sort of heavy kickers. They've got educated feet, they like their kicking, they've both got kick pads within their attire, and this was a really good match. It was good sort of feeling out process to start with, who was going to get the first shot in on their opponent. They were kicking each other, they were ducking it, it was really good start to the match. So as the match progresses, it would be Jay Joshua who would sort of become the more aggressive of the two, and he would go after Shogun Jay and sort of take advantage of every opportunity he could to attack Owen Charles, taking Shogun Jay off his game. Now that seemed to be a good plan. Shogun Jay did eventually come back, and that did come to haunt him. You've got to keep your focus on your opponent and no one on the outside, because basically Shogun J then gets control, hits a penalty kick to the chest after hitting the facebuster, and basically picks up the victory from there. He goes away with the victory, and sorry, my auto tracking is all over the place. Every time I move my hand it moves. Yeah, so Shogun J goes away with the victory here in this match. Great match, good interlude to the two main events that we're going to go and see now. So what we get next is Experiments in Terror, which is Elijah and LK Mazinga. We've seen them in Hope, former stablemates of Eddie Dennis, another one of my ones to watch in British wrestling. He is currently out with an injury. He's signed to NXT UK, and one that should have really been at Cardiff, but obviously with it being an injury he cannot do that. And they're going against Bobby Tyler, who's had a very successful run in Japan for the all women's promotion. She is coming back to Sacrifice Pro and teaming with Tim Lee. Comedy strong style is in full effect here. But yeah, we get lots of high flying again. And Tim Lee even does the high flying. He's a big guy. He's the Kings of Flight champion over in Hope. So he can do the high flying stuff. He also has things where, you know, you'd expect to flip and he'll just drop on the people, and it's dead funny. Tim Lee, another one to watch in British wrestling if you ever get to see him. Anyway, LK Mazinga and Elijah are also a very, very well established tag team, and they are fantastic as well. They can do the flying stuff, and it would be Bobby Tyler who would do most of the flying here, jumping out of the ring twice and then trying a third time before getting clocked by both LK Mazinga and Elijah from either side, taking out Bobby Tyler, and this would lead to the high-low fireman's roll, coup de grace, moonsault on Tim Lee for the win, and that was the winning sequence with Bobby Tyler down on the outside. A great tag team match, intergender tag team match. Bobby Tyler showed no fear in this match. She was going against the lads and she just went for it. She's definitely again one to watch, and it would be Experiments in Terror, that's what I called them. Yeah, Experiments in Terror, who would pick up the win in this one. And with that, it would be LK Mazinga and Elijah leaving the arena, and Jack Cave's music would hit. Jack Cave, the commissioner in Sacrifice Pro, so I understand. He comes out and attacks Bobby Tyler and Tim Lee with the help of one Hustle Malone. Again, two face guys in Hope are heel guys in Sacrifice Pro. I love Jackie Cave, I love Hustle Malone. I think they're both awesome, whether they're face or heel. If you hear one guy clapping, that'll probably be me, and that's what it was like. I was clapping these guys, no one was taking it on board, but hey, I was in that video that they put on Facebook, so go and check that out. I'll try and find the link and put it in the video somewhere, wherever the cards come up. So they attack Bobby Tyler. Bobby Tyler gets taken out, and they continue the punishment while doing a selfie video on Tim Lee as they continue the punishment on the Comedy Strong Style king of Comedy Strong Style in a crumpled mess. This feud has been going on for a long time, and it looks like it's finally going to come to a head at Sacrifice Pro in October. So we go on to the main event now. It is Nico Angelo versus Warren Banks versus Chris Brooks. Now this match again was just insane. Well dressed ref, just let it go. Obviously, Warren Banks has picked up the Hope Wrestling Championship, so he's brought that down with him. All these guys are perceived as face. I did get the feeling that a lot of the Sacrifice Pro fans didn't really know who Chris Brooks was, but I was really impressed by Nico Angelo in this match. Warren Banks is always awesome anyway. I've seen him many times, and Chris Brooks is just a phenomenon in British wrestling. So any time you get to see any of these guys in a ring, go and see them. They are brilliant, and I've got to say Warren Banks's championship win was very much warranted. The first ever Hope Future champion, and now the first ever Hope Future and Hope Wrestling, Hope Heavyweight champion in the history of the company, which is pretty damn cool. So there you go. And only so he was the first, and there's only been 3 future champions, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, after a lot of high flying, a lot of battling in the crowd, there's chairs chucked on people, they battled over to the merchandise, they were chucked into walls, there was spears everywhere on the outside, they were just beating the tar out of each other. You can't really call it a wrestling match, it was more like a street fight, and that's exactly what we got. Again, the action took place right next to me, which was pretty damn cool, and just love everything about Sacrifice Pro. Just a shame that it's so far away from me, otherwise I'd go and see more of it. But yeah, the match finishes. Chris Brooks has been taken out, and Nico Angelo goes for his last high-flying move, or it would prove to be his last high-flying move in this match, as he goes for the shooting star press on Warren Banks, who gets up just in the nick of time and spears Nico Angelo out of his tights as he picks up the victory. Shooting star into a spear. That spot alone was worth the price of admission to Sacrifice Pro number 27. Turned out that Nico Angelo probably landed a little bit funny. There was a little bit of concern after the match, but that concern quickly went away as he was helped out of the ring. He was walking, so that's good. So get well soon, Nico, if you have any problems from Cheap Shot Entertainment. So yeah, after the match, it would be Warren Banks joining with Kent Nelson would come out, and so would the 8-7, and for a little while it would be Kent Nelson and Warren Banks having a feud with the 8-7 in the middle of the ring. But after the initial brawl, Warren Banks would turn around and spear Kent Nelson out of his boots. This led to the 8-7 jumping in the ring and beating down on Kent Nelson, with Warren Banks beating up Kent Nelson as well. Now, Warren Banks is a predominant face character. He's always been face as long as I've known him in Hope Wrestling, and this was an absolute shocker. Great way to end a show. Kent Nelson has had his partner turn his back on him. Warren Banks joins the 8-7 as possibly their new leader, now as the Hope Wrestling champion. You'd expect him to be the leader of the pack there. So yeah, that is how Sacrifice Pro ends. Been a while since I've done a video. So yeah, that is how Sacrifice Pro ends. It ends on a cliffhanger, and yeah, that is your show. I'll give this a solid 4.5 out of 5. There were some little botches here and there, but I don't care about that as long as I'm entertained. No show's ever going to be a full 5, but this was very, very close. So yeah, if you ever get a chance to go and see Sacrifice Pro, if you're in the Milton Keynes Leighton Buzzard area, I'd suggest you go and get tickets for this one. You get to see Jackie Cave and Hustle Malone beating people up, which is always good. And yeah, I really enjoy this, and I feel like I'm part of the Hope Wrestling family now, where I can go pretty much anywhere they do a show and I'll get recognised, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, that is everything that happened at Sacrifice Pro number 27. Payment is due, my friend. That is the end of this video. We hope you've enjoyed it. This has been Sacrifice Pro number 27. Payment is due, my friend. And it took place at Cedars Upper School on the 8th of September 2019. And it was a fantastic show. So there is a free show on the Sacrifice Pro Facebook page at the moment. So go and check that out. Well worth doing. And obviously you can keep up to date with all of the things that are happening at Sacrifice Pro, which I'm going to go now while you're here. I'm going to go on the Sacrifice Pro Facebook page, and here we go, and just give you 13th of October is the next Sacrifice Pro show. It is at the Cedars Upper School and is called Jackrafice Pro number 28. So yeah, go and get your tickets for that from the Big Cartel store. In the meantime, click the subscribe button if you've liked the video. If you want to see more content from us, the notification bell to know when we upload more content to the channel, and we've got plenty to come. I've been working on some new stuff. Join us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook to keep up to date with various different things, including my unboxings of the WrestleCrate UK. So that's always a good one. Very quick, always good content in there. And yeah, join us for the blogger, which we put things on there occasionally. Different articles and things like that I've written, my feelings and thoughts on British wrestling and wrestling in general, also contributed to by the big boss Tom Priest, so you can check him out on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. And yeah, like I say, the blogger also has a link to the t-shirt store where you can get your t-shirts and choose your colours. That is the main theme of the store at the moment. You'll see if you go over there what I mean by that. Some different designs there where you can show your love to us at Cheap Shot Entertainment as much as we love you, the Cheap Shot Nation. I've been your host, Luke, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.